On December 7, 1941, hundreds of American sailors woke up to the sound of explosions. Within 2 hours, the most powerful naval base in the Pacific was in flames. Over 2,400 Americans were dead. 20 warships were destroyed or damaged. 300 aircraft were wiped out. The United States had just been punched in the face. And the man behind all of it? He had actually warned Japan that attacking America was a terrible idea. So who exactly was this man? And why did the U.S. Navy fear him more than anyone else in World War II? It's the 1930s. Japan is on the rise. The Japanese military is expanding across Asia, taking over China, pushing into Southeast Asia, grabbing territory and resources. But there's one giant problem standing in their way: the United States of America and its massive naval base at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. As long as the American fleet was sitting right there in the middle of the Pacific, Japan couldn't move freely. Japan's military leaders made a decision. They had to destroy it. Enter Isoroku Yamamoto. Born in 1884 in a small town in Japan, Yamamoto was the sixth son of a poor school teacher. His family had almost nothing. But this kid had something special: a brain that never stopped thinking and a hunger to prove himself. He joined the Japanese Navy and rose through the ranks fast, really fast. Here's what made him different from every other military leader of his time. He had actually lived in America. He studied at Harvard. He traveled across the United States. He watched American factories, farms, and cities, and what he saw scared him. He told Japan's leaders straight to their faces, "If we go to war with America, I can promise to run wild for the first 6 months. After that, I have no confidence in our success." He knew America was too big, too rich, too powerful. But Japan didn't listen. And so Yamamoto, the man who didn't want this war, was ordered to plan it. Japan's military believed that if they could destroy the American fleet in one sudden surprise strike, the U.S. would panic. They thought Americans were soft, that after one big punch, America would sit down and negotiate. Yamamoto disagreed completely, but he was a soldier, and soldiers follow orders. So he took on the most dangerous mission in the history of naval warfare: attack the world's most powerful navy on their own soil, from 4,000 miles away, with complete secrecy. Most people thought it was impossible. Yamamoto made it happen. The genius of the plan. Yamamoto's plan was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Instead of sending battleships like every other navy in history, Yamamoto built his attack around aircraft carriers, ships that launched fighter planes into the sky. At the time, most military experts laughed at this idea. They said battleships were the real power, planes were toys. Yamamoto proved them all wrong. He secretly assembled 6 aircraft carriers carrying over 400 planes. Then he sent them creeping across the Pacific, in radio silence, in bad weather, off normal shipping routes, so no one would notice. The attack on Pearl Harbor. December 7th, 1941, Sunday morning. Most American sailors were sleeping, eating breakfast, or writing letters home. Nobody expected anything. The base was totally relaxed. Then the sky filled with Japanese planes. 350 aircraft hit Pearl Harbor in 2 waves. Bombs rained down on battleships. Torpedoes ripped through hulls. Fire spread everywhere. In less than 2 hours, the U.S. Pacific Fleet was devastated. It was one of the most perfectly executed military strikes in history. And Yamamoto had planned every single detail. The enemy reaction. Here's where things went exactly the way Yamamoto feared. Instead of panicking and negotiating, America did the opposite. The country exploded with rage. The next day, President Roosevelt declared war on Japan. And then America's massive factories, the ones Yamamoto had seen with his own eyes, started building warships, planes, and weapons at a speed the world had never seen. Yamamoto's nightmare was becoming real. Why the U.S. feared him. In the 6 months after Pearl Harbor, Yamamoto's fleet went on an absolute rampage across the Pacific. He sank British warships in the Indian Ocean. He bombed Darwin in Australia. He crushed Allied fleets at the Battle of the Java Sea. American commanders had to study his moves like a chess game because every time they thought they knew what he was doing, he surprised them. He was unpredictable, he was smart, and he was winning. U.S. Navy admirals started calling him the most dangerous man in the Pacific. They weren't being dramatic. They were being honest. But then came June 1942 and the Battle of Midway. American codebreakers had cracked Japan's secret communication codes. They knew Yamamoto's next target. For the first time, the U.S. was ready for him. In a stunning reversal, American planes caught Japan's carriers off guard. 4 of Japan's 6 elite aircraft carriers were sunk in a single day. It was the same weapon Yamamoto had used against Pearl Harbor, now turned against him. The war in the Pacific shifted. Japan was now on the defensive. By 1943, Japan was losing the war. And America knew Yamamoto was the heart and brain of Japan's entire military strategy. So they made a decision that had never been done before in modern history. They decided to assassinate the enemy's top general in the sky. Using the cracked codes, American intelligence discovered the exact route and time of Yamamoto's flight inspection tour on April 18, 1943. 16 American P-38 fighter planes were sent on a 1,000-mile mission through enemy skies. They found his plane exactly on schedule. Isoroku Yamamoto, Japan's greatest military commander, was shot down over the jungle island of Bougainville. He was 59 years old. When Japan announced his death, the Japanese people went into national mourning. Emperor Hirohito himself declared Yamamoto a national hero. Like and subscribe if you learned something new today. See you in the next one.